This Week in iPad is brought to you by Hover, the best place to purchase and manage your domains. Go to twi.hover.com and save 10% off any purchase with the promo code TWIIP. Press Reader. Read 1,600 newspapers all on your iPad. Try the app free for 1 week by going to pressreader.com and entering the code TWIIP. Gazelle.com, the premier destination to sell back all of your old used electronics. Use the promo code TWI5 and get a 5% bonus on the final trade-in value of all your items. Today on This Week in iPad, we announced the winner of the big 25th episode iPad giveaway. We're going to chat with Tim Harrison of Brisk Mobile. He's the man behind my big obsessive iPad game of the moment, Medieval HD. And we're going to look at the New Yorker app. Yes, the New Yorker app. Hello once again, friends. Welcome to another exciting episode, slightly delayed if you're watching this live, perfectly on time if you're watching it on iTunes, episode of This Week in iPad. Had some technical issues on Thursday night, so we're filming this early on a Friday. Well, not that early. Early for me on a Friday. Normal time for most human beings.
I usually wake up at 2 p.m., so...
It's early. It feels early for me to be in here and doing a show on a Friday.
I can just wake up on Thursdays and roll in. I actually sleep in the back. No,
yeah.
Easy that way.
It feels like a nighttime show, the iPad show. We've had, a couple of belts in us already. We've had time to unwind after a long day, talk about our iPads. But here we are. We've made it. We're on the air. I'm very excited. I'm actually really excited about today's show because we have a couple big announcements, but the main one, I'm excited because I love the game Medieval HD. We talked about it a few weeks ago. I had Andrea review it on a previous show, and now I'm very excited to have Tim from Brisk Mobile here joining us. Hello, Tim. So that's exciting, first of all. Also exciting, we have the winner of our iPad giveaway contest to celebrate our 25th episode. You can bring it up on my laptop right now. Sean Monahan is his name, at Sean the Twit with 2 T's. I have the actual tweet up on my laptop. We can bring that up. Not sure if we can. But it basically said, thank you at Press Display, makers of the Press Reader iPad app, for sponsoring This Week in iPad. I used a random number generator, so I did not, this was completely random. I had no say. I did not know. I just went yesterday into the number generator. There we go. And I just put in, got a number. It was like 45 or something like that, and then I went back that number of tweets, and then I picked the one at that number, and it was Sean Monahan at Sean the Twit. Congratulations, I'll reach out to him. He is the winner of our iPad. We're giving away a lot more prizes like iPads on the network across all the shows. We have other promotions going. Basically, if you are watching the shows, go ahead and thank the sponsor and put the hashtag for that show in whatever show you're watching, and you may win something. We're going to start giving away more iPads, cases, other cool stuff, just because people like to win stuff. It gets us a lot more attention in social media.
I'm going to have one small tangent. You keep bringing on the makers of these really addicting games.
Yes.
And I don't appreciate it because I lose my life for a little bit. As
I've said before, one thing I really enjoy about doing the show is I can play around with stuff on my iPad, and if I like it, I can just reach out to those people, and because we have a show that gets, a decent amount of viewership, they will want to then come on the show. And it's really exciting because I get to talk to all these people who are working on these projects in real time that I'm enjoying. It's really awesome. Osmos, we had the guy on from Osmos, which was one of these examples, and what is that, that Risk, Dominion HD, we had that guy on, and We Rule, obviously.
I try and avoid these addicting games because I'm a busy man.
You are a busy man.
And then I play, it's for the show, I got to do for the show. And then, a month later, I'm still tapping away, killing these dumb balloons. So.
Yes, I hate the hot air balloons. No more hot air balloons, Tim. It's killing me. One more announcement here at the top of the show. A little bittersweet, I think. This will be my last episode hosting This Week in iPad with you, Jacob.
Who I look at instead?
Single tier. Andrea Renee, she's been on the show before reviewing. She's actually coming on board this weekend, I've just found out, as a full-time producer. She is going to be producing our Thursday night lineup of shows, including This Week in iPad, and she will be sitting in for me. I'm on too many shows.
I don't know how I will get used to looking at her face instead of yours.
I
but
know, it's going to be tough.
I'll cope.
But yeah, somehow I'm sure you'll muddle through. But anyway, so it's a little bittersweet. It's a little bit of a special show. Let's get right into it. Before we talk to Tim, who's been waiting so patiently, I want to talk a little bit about a great app, another great app that we love, that we talk about all the time. It's Press Reader. This is the company that our winner thanked, actually. This is their product, so we appreciate that. Thank you, Sean the Twit. It's from Newspaper Direct. It's the only app that brings you over. They've upped it again, 1,700 full-content newspapers from 90 countries in 47 languages, all right here on your iPad. You pay $30 a month, and you get unlimited downloads. That's full papers every day from pretty much anywhere in the world you can think of. You've got this massive list of countries. You just pick your country. In this case, I'm going to look at the good old US of A. And I mean, look at all of these different options I have. Tons and tons. Every major paper from every major city. The San Jose Mercury News. Who doesn't love to read the San Jose Mercury News? It's all set up to download today. I'm just requesting it, and I'm downloading it. It's coming right here into my iPad. In real time, I'm going to get it, and it's a full content newspaper. I mean, you can see a previous one that I've downloaded. I mean, it's just like reading the paper, and that's what I love about this app. It's not like a lot of the other newspaper apps that you download where, you just get like a couple stories, you get a few editions. It's the editors are picking and choosing, like, I want to show them this and this. It's everything. You get the full experience, and it's a really great experience. And one more thing I'd really love to mention, you can see it on the screen. If you go to pressreader.com and you sign up with the promo code TWIIP, you can download a week of papers for free. You can try it for free. The app is free. You just download it. Go to pressreader.com, enter that promo code TWIIP, try it out for a week for free, see what you think.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that I can see my, horrifically backwards hometown newspaper every day.
Every day. But
it's a reminder of where I came from.
It's one of those things that fulfills the promise of the iPad. I think the iPad comes out and you're like, you can get all of your information right in here live. It's like having a paper, except you've got this nice, clean, neat little piece of technology that doesn't get print all over your hands. You can skip around anything you want. When you get that story continues on E24, you can just hit and it goes right there. It's the future. And it's really amazing, and it's one of those oh wow moments when you show people your iPad. Okay, so thank you to Press Reader, at Press Display on Twitter if you want to go thank them. Who knows, maybe you'll win something. I'm not saying you will or you won't. And we really appreciate all their support. TWIIP is the code. Okay, let's chat with Tim. Tim Harrison of Brisk Mobile. What do you do over there at Brisk Mobile? Give us a little background.
I do a variety of things. A lot of product management, which you're seeing through our internal games. We also have a large set of customer work, sort of external custom app development for a variety of customers. I can talk about some of them in some detail if you'd like. So kind of jump around. Anything that needs to be done, from project management to just conception, gameplay, difficulty, which is always a hot topic.
So you're the guy sending us those red balloons in Medieval that then fire arrows at my castle.
Usually, yeah.
You bastard. So can you give us a little bit of background on Brisk Mobile? I mean, you guys, you make games, but you also develop third-party apps. You seem to advise companies. Like, what's the core business? How does making games fit in with what you guys actually do day to day?
So, I mean, we've got a pretty even mix between our internal games and our customer business. I mean, our core business really is mobile software development, be it iPhone, be it Android. Obviously, this is an iPad-specific phone, specific show, so I'll keep it to the Apple products. But really, we're there not only to help develop, but also to lend some guidance when you're navigating the mobile space. It's something that we've been involved in through each of our backgrounds at other companies, Tier Wireless being one of them. So we kind of have a lot of experience. I've seen the game space develop over the last 5-6 years. I've been a gamer my whole life, so it's kind of fun to relive the sort of change from the more Nintendo-esque level of games to now, mobile capabilities are approaching what we have on consoles. So it's really been a fun evolution.
That's interesting that you say that. That was actually a question I had down here in my notes. Like, what are your feelings overall about the iPad as like a gaming platform? Like, what's holding it back? And do you think it's ever actually going to be like, well, I have a Wii and an Xbox and an iPad, and they're going to be sort of on even keel?
I don't know that they'll ever be on an even keel. I think console has its space, just like PC gaming has its space. I've seen some really neat usage of the iPad. There's a couple games that use the iPhone as a separate controller, and they use Bluetooth to actually control the action that's happening on the iPad. So that alone is kind of pushing it into a sort of pseudo console space. I can see Jacob firing away there.
That's me, actually. That's me.
Oh, that's you?
I'm on level 72. Jacob's nowhere near that.
On easy.
Congratulations.
Easy.
How far does it go? Well, I've got you on here. Like, how high does it go until I'm going to run out of levels?
This is an open-ended game. So you basically play in perpetuity. If you check OpenFeint, where we have our leaderboard set up, I mean, there's guys on level 1800 plus on hard.
You're trying to make me feel bad.
It's kind of an ongoing competition. I think I'm at about 285. So.
Oh man, I thought I was doing like amazing. I'm like, I'm over level 70. I must be like the greatest person in the world at this game.
On easy.
That's defeating. So tell us a little bit about. You mentioned OpenFeint, and like that's where your leaderboards are and stuff. Like, how did you get involved with them? And like, what do you see as like? Is that the kind of future of social gaming, that there's going to just be these like depositories where everybody keeps all their stats?
Yeah, I mean, for us, because we are doing so many things concurrently, it's beneficial to kind of get someone else who's an expert in another space to provide these types of integrations for you. Apple does have their Game Center, which is part of some of the latest OS releases. We're going to start to utilize some of those components, more so for the multiplayer aspects, if I can kind of let that cat out of the bag.
Oh, so I'll be able to take Jacob on and show him who's boss.
Exactly right. They do things, they'll take care of player matching, so they can match you based on your skill and your level and things like that. And the Apple servers will do all that for you. So with OpenFeint, it's the same kind of deal. Anywhere we can leverage someone else's expertise, it's better than reinventing the wheel.
Definitely. What is the most challenging like app that you've worked on to date? And like, what was so challenging about it? Is it Medieval?
I mean, Medieval as a game, challenging in terms of getting the mix of play right. It's not quite tower defense, you know. It's not capture the flag. It's this sort of new genre, so to speak. At the time when we released it, which was over about 1.5 years ago now on the iPhone, our most challenging application, I think, would be some of the customer work that we've done, especially the Audubon guides. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the brand. They've been a nature publication for years.
Sure, yeah.
And so we work with a group called Green Mountain Digital, and we've put out about 30 applications, both on iPhone, iPad, and Android. And just there's so many species, there's so much data. On the iPhone, iPad side, you've got applications anywhere from 300 to 800 megabytes. We have a combo application that's well over 1 gigabyte. So there was a lot of technical considerations, a lot of challenges that we had to overcome as part of developing those apps, which have turned out to be great.
Cool. So you mentioned Medieval was originally an iPhone title. Like, what was involved in bringing it to the iPad? I mean, is it just stretching it out, making the graphics better, or is there more going into it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the graphics are a fundamental change. That's one of the things that we really spent a lot of time getting right for Medieval. I think that's really lent to its success. They're top notch on the iPad. There are some minor framework considerations when you're moving an app from iPhone to iPad, and of course, there's always the consideration of whether or not to make what Apple calls a universal build. So now you're sending one SKU to the App Store instead of having one iPhone version and then an iPad version. Everyone can just grab the same thing at the same price point, and they can run it on their iPad or their iPod or their iPhone. So some of those are business decisions. Some of them are technical concerns. Also, I mean, Medieval is such a compelling game, and as you know, it's really addictive.
Yes.
So we just wanted to make sure that we carried that over into iPad with the shooting mechanisms and everything else. Your castles are a little further away visually than they are on the iPhone. So some of those elements, we just had to make sure we got the gameplay right, because that really was a secret ingredient.
Yeah. I want to talk a little about upgrades. I've got the upgrade screen here on my computer. Like, you keep adding to these. I mean, the hot oil and the sort of spikes, what are those called? The stockades are sort of new, and you've added, like, as I've had the game and are playing it, I keep seeing new things sort of crop up. Is that, like, how does that change your work as a game developer? I mean, I feel like the paradigm used to be a game comes out and it's released and then you move on to the next game. And now it's that a game comes out and you have to keep, sort of tweaking it and adding to it and enhancing it. So are you able to push content out more quickly because you'll be able to revise?
You really want to get the first set right. So I don't think it makes your job any easier in terms of an initial launch. I think what you end up doing is you need to create ongoing value for people to keep them interested. And the way Apple does their rankings, I mean, it's always changing, but updates and other kind of factors like that do actually become a factor in where you sit in the iTunes rankings, which, as most developers know, is kind of the holy grail of marketing and advertising. Your application is really getting up there and having that visibility in the App Store. So consistent upgrades, new weapons, new backgrounds, new enemies, those are all ways of keeping user interest high, and also lets us kind of play around with the dynamics of the game. I get to be a little creative and think about how I want the gameplay to evolve. And for instance, we actually did have one release where we left a cheat mode enabled. And the feedback was pretty immediate, that people were saying, I'm on level 500 and this is a little too easy.
How did this happen?
We just, we kind of rushed the release out, and it's one line in the code, and we just forgot to comment it out. And there you go. Everyone had to cheat. But what actually eventuated out of it was an entirely new game mode that we called Fast Fire Mode. Because when we changed it back, we had almost as many people complaining that the game now, back to its original form, was too difficult. So there was this whole section of the gaming environment that really just wanted this quick play, everything's easy to beat, everything's easy to kill. So you kind of stumble on these paradigms sometimes.
Yeah. That was me. I like my games easy. I apologize. Yeah. I'm sorry, Jacob. I like an easy game. So what do you think is the secret to not only your success with this game, but to iPad games in general? I mean, what's the most critical component to making like a great, playable, addictive iPad game?
Well, I think you said it right there, playability. It's not, I don't believe at least, it's not a paradigm where someone's going to sit down for hours at a time and be playing this game. I mean, yes, if you're addicted to Medieval, you're going to play it for a couple hours. I get in trouble all the time handing it, to my brother-in-laws, and then I hear it from my sisters because the guys disappear for a couple hours playing Medieval. But I think getting that happy medium where you can feel engaged for, it's almost like more like a time waster. You can feel engaged for a few minutes, but you can easily put down the game and pick it up again. And Medieval is one of those games where you can just leave it, come right back to it, and you're right where you started, even mid-battle. You'll be right where you left off. So I think that medium between engaging the audience, but also having it as something that they can kind of pick up and put down at their leisure is really where the iPad and mobile gaming kind of sits right now. It's not a World of Warcraft type environment yet where you want to be, sitting for hours, especially if you're on the bus or something. The iPad's a little heavy. If you're holding it out in front of your face for, a couple hours.
Well, it is. I think that's a great point, and that's definitely Medieval is a great use case for that. I know I was waiting in my car to go into an interview last week, not a job interview this weekend, folks. Don't worry. And I had like 10 minutes to kill just sitting there, and it's perfect. You can play like 3 levels of Medieval, just jam through it, and then you're ready to go, and you can just stop at any time, and it picks up where you left off. Tim, thank you so much for joining us here on the show. I know we delayed. You're supposed to be on yesterday. It's been a whole crazy goings on here behind the scenes. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No problem, Lon. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And the app for everybody else is Medieval HD. It's in the App Store now. It is really fun. Jacob's been playing it this entire time.
I'm not going to talk to you at all.
He's ignoring
anymore.
me to play more. Let's move on. We got to move on with the show. We got a ton left to get to. But before we go, I want to talk a little bit about another fantastic sponsor who we could not do the show without. It's going to be my last time talking about all these sponsors. A little bittersweet for me. It's of course Gazelle.com, and they're here on my laptop. We can take a look. This is where you go to unload all of those electronics that you don't need anymore, that are taking up space in your house, that could be used for leftover iPad cases, furniture, all those other things that you need to get.
Food.
Finally get food and a bed in your place and get rid of all of these old phones and gadgets that you're not playing. Game consoles, any electronics you've got, really, even media. You can all unload them all on Gazelle. You can get them in front of somebody else who's really going to enjoy them, and you get some money out of it. It couldn't be more easy to use. You take a look right here on my screen. You can get, pretty much any electronics you've got sitting around. Let's look up an iPad. Here you see all of the options. What else would you get rid of, Jacob? What have you got sitting around your house?
My Dell Streak? No,
you don't have a Dell Streak. You are a liar.
I am a rat pack. Like this is
old
phones.
You're a pack rat. You're not in the rat pack.
Well, it's Freudian slip. I wish I was in the rat pack.
Yes.
Like other than old phones, I keep things. But what would my mother get rid of?
Yeah.
If I wasn't aware of, old.
What would your mom throw away?
I
from
still
your
have
bedroom?
my NES.
Wow, I don't know. I'm going to take a look.
I'd be intrigued.
Let's
if she
see what
sold
we've got.
that.
We've got a Nintendo, GameCube, we've got a DS. Well, I'm just going to look up Nintendo. Oh, I looked up Super Mario Brothers.
I have a DS Lite. I'm pretty sure she has sold. And it would have been easier through Gazelle.
Yeah. So let me see here. We got a GameCube, a Wii. I mean, this is just, you can look it up. You can browse through, see everything that you can possibly get rid of here. Let's take a look at a Nintendo DSi. Powers on successfully. Overall condition, it's perfect. This hypothetical DSi I've just made up. And then you click calculate. They're going to give you $63 for this just sitting around.
Pretty good.
Not a bad deal. And you can even see right here, you could track on the chart here. Here's what it was worth at the beginning of the year. Here's what they're estimating it's going to be worth. It's going to drop in value about 20 bucks. So if I wanted to do this, I would just add it to box. I would tell them I want to trade in my old DSi. They will take care of shipping. If they really want it, they'll even send you a box. Couldn't be easier. So otherwise, you could go on eBay. You could spend, 10 years of your life like negotiating with people. You don't know if they're really going to come through for you or not. Then you got to wrap it. You got to go to the post office. Yeah, it's like a whole nightmare world. You just want to sell your DSi and go out and get something new. You want to get a Wii or whatever. You don't want to mess around with all this. You can just take care of it on Gazelle. It takes 2 minutes and you're done. Really great company. One of the sponsors on this weekend. I mean, we love all our sponsors, but this is one of the ones we get tons and tons of great feedback about all the time. That people say, I heard about Gazelle. It was amazing to use. I love it now. Thank you guys.
Buddha would appreciate it if you simplified your life and stricken yourself of
That's
material
true.
possessions and Gowalla.
No. Gazelle, Gazelle.com, Gazelle.com, and if you act now, use the promo code TWI5 when you go to Gazelle.com, and you get a 5% bonus on the final trade-in value of all your items. That excludes media, so not DVDs and video games, but any electronics, anything like hardware, you can trade in, you get an extra 5% on top of whatever else they were going to pay you for your DSi or your iPad or whatever else. TWI5 is the code. That's all you have to do. Nearly 100,000 people have used Gazelle to safely rid themselves of unwanted gadgets and earn some cash while doing it. Why have it take up space in a landfill or in your desk drawer? Just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Gazelle.com. Thank you to Gazelle. Okay, let's get on with the show. You have a game that you are going to review.
Yes.
It's not Medieval HD, which is the only game I've been playing lately.
And it's about to be only mine, except my my utter adoration of word games.
You do love word games.
And so this is one actually, and I can't remember his name. We had on last week, 2 weeks ago. Help.
Last week.
Yes.
Yes. We had on Cyril Moutron
Yes.
from Awake Away. They are the
Yes.
makers of the friendly Facebook browser.
So we were talking with him after the show, and he was like, "Oh, there's one app that I really, we asked him what his favorite apps were, and I think he said the Twitter app." Then he showed us this game, and then we played each other a couple of times, and I've been addicted to it since. It's called Word Monkey. It's a combination of a game I used to play called Word Rap, which I still play on my iPhone. But it's, a Scrabble-y, if you're a fan of Boggle, as I am, it's a good game to play that. So Do we have my camera? We do, right?
Yeah, there we go. Look at that.
So I'm gonna go ahead and play solo. It has a multiplayer mode. I have a game in progress, so I'm gonna resume it. Except I think I'm about to die on this one because I kind of let it go. So my monkey's probably going to be very... Oh, no, I'm good. I'm good.
That would be embarrassing for you.
It would. But basically, words will come up. Tetris, it's a combination of, I think, Boggle and Tetris. And I just have to start spelling words. Jeer. And then it will go away. So
and the monkey gets excited.
And your monkey levels up as you get more things, and you'll start getting power-ups. But it's a really a wonderful game, and what... we were just talking about is that it's instantly gettable. You within 2 seconds you pick it up, you get it, and you understand why this is different than handing someone a DS where you'd have to learn a control system and stuff like that. I am not able to think of any words other than word. Look at that.
Lab.
Lab. Lid.
Oh, you just got rid of the
lib,
nab.
If I had a complaint, and I don't think it's necessarily a complaint because I need to look up where it's getting its word list from because I have put in combinations.
Slow, S-L-O-E.
And I'm about, thank you.
Or soul, S-O-L-E.
I have put in words that I'm convinced are not real English words, and my monkey has been very happy to take them. So I'm wondering if it has international dictionaries mixed in, like I think Q-U-E. It was very much
interesting. I know when you play like Scrabble or
words,
any of the literati, any of those games, you can get away with a lot of like 2-letter words that aren't real, like XI or whatever, that maybe internationally.
Chi, that is an official Scrabble word. That is in the Scrabble.
XI?
It's a alternative spelling of, I think, QI, which is a soul, the Buddhist soul, I think.
That's a load of crap, literati.
Yeah.
I'm not into it.
I mean, so I know my Scrabble dictionary decently well, and words that I know aren't in that, because I have tried to play them, and I have been called out and, docked points. So I tried to look around to figure out where it's come from, couldn't find it, but single player, multiplayer, awesome. I think it's like $3 or $4.
Do you think this game is educational? That's what I was wondering while I was watching you play. Because it's like, if you don't know the words, it doesn't actually teach you words you don't know.
I don't think it's education. I would say no. Yeah. That said, it is where it does help out, and as does the game like I was mentioning, Word Wrap, which I play on my iPhone. It does help to beat other people in Scrabble because you're learning you're recognizing the words you already know, because most of the trouble in Scrabble isn't necessarily knowing more words, although that certainly helps a lot. It's knowing this word, this word, this word.
Yeah.
So highly recommended for all ages.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that are highly recommended for all ages, hover.com. Can we talk about that for a while?
I bought my first domain when I was 13 years old.
That's
so
my
that's
my new favorite segue I've ever done, maybe. Yeah. TWI.hover.com is the address. You can see it here on my screen. You'll see my beautiful face right on there. If you go to TWI.hover.com, first of all, hover.com, the best place to obtain your domains and to move your domains and to organize and manage your domains. Anything you need a domain registrar for, hover.com is the place. It is simple. It is clean. I can't say enough about that.
It's fully featured, but at the same time, you get none of the clutter.
How many times have you sat around with somebody who's buying a domain like, oh, and you hear them sighing and like, oh, I don't know where to go, and this is so complicated, it's taking me 8 steps to do something that should be incredibly simple. Hover.com takes all the pain out of that. If you go to twi.hover.com and get your domains, you'll see it's neat, it's clean, it's well organized, it's easy to use, they have instructions to do everything you want, and you save 10% on all of your purchases if you go to twi.hover.com using the promo code TWIIP. This week in iPad, you might almost say.
Yeah.
So a great deal. Right now they're having a special. You can actually get yourname.me for just $5. So jacobbirch.me. Do you own that?
I do not.
lonharris.me. I own that. Of course. Come on. What are you thinking? I have to go. I'm going to go into hover.com and I'm going to redirect it to lonharris.com, which is my blog. But of course I had to snatch it up the other day because I don't want somebody else having my name.
Yeah.
That would be ridiculous.
I actually I own jacobbirch.com and .net. I'm going to go buy .me.
Yeah, you got to have .me.
But
only $5.
But I did run into I didn't buy .org because I'm thinking, who's going to buy it? Who's going to buy it? And I want to pay these inferior, ugly registrars all that money, and then a Hollywood actor who's known for playing I think Frat Boys was one of his listings on IMDb. Took.org. I've yet to wrangle it.
Bastard.
But if I had used Hover, I don't even know if Hover was around when this .org was snatched from me.
Brutal.
It would have been easy to buy, would have done it, and it would have saved me a lot of hassle.
Yeah, nothing is more annoying than when somebody else gets your name on the web and you feel like there's an imposter pretending to be you. It's very frustrating. You just register the name at Hover. You can point it wherever you want. So if you already have a blog, if you have another website, you don't have to set up a brand new site. You just buy yourname.me, only $5, and then you can point it wherever you want. It's super easy on Hover to just take the domain and send it wherever you want. On other registrars, I won't say any names, on other registrars, it could be like a 17-step process. You're going into menus, you're scrolling down, you're checking certain boxes, you're clicking add and delete. It's a nightmare. I tried to do it when I set up lonharris.com, and it was a complete nightmare. Hover makes it super easy. It's very simple. That's their whole point. It's a production of 2 cows. They've been doing this sort of stuff on the web since '94. They know how to do it and to make it fun and easy and an enjoyable experience. Hover.com. Go to twi.hover.com. We thank them very much. A very faithful sponsor of the show. It has been really fabulous to work with them while I've been here. I will continue to support them and love them even once Andrea steps in as host, I swear. Yeah. Okay, so let's do some news.
Sweet. I'm excited.
So the big news, I guess, this week, the iPad iOS 4.2 Beta 2 released to developers. A little bit of a slow news week. A little bit. So, it seems mostly like it's reliability and speed improvements. I didn't see a whole lot of reporting about brand new stuff, except European iPad 3G owners who installed it got a curious little option in the APN settings. Did you hear about this?
I did not.
Internet tethering, apparently. This seems to be an option that's now available. It looks almost exactly like the tethering option looks on iPhones. So clearly, AT&T customers do not have this option yet, but European iPad 3G owners may get internet tethering with the next big iPad release. Do you think this is coming down the road for Americans? And how much do you think we'd be charged for such an option?
A lot. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if AT&T with the iPad goes in the same model that they do with the iPhone. I don't think there's a reason not to. They've made it prohibitive enough to where you can't abuse the network using it, and it's not, let me just do tethering, it'll be the easiest decision in the world. I still haven't done it on my phone because I haven't needed it that often. I find I'm viewing offline content more and more using stuff like Instapaper, which I love. So I haven't needed it a lot, so I think it'll be prohibitive enough that AT&T's always slow. So I think it'll come eventually. It'll probably be knowingly expensive, $40 or $60, just to flip a switch on. So soonish, yearish, maybe iPad 4.
Yeah.
2? iPad 4, man, I'm off today. iPad 2.
iPad 2.
I'm years in the future.
Well, it's iOS 4 coming to the iPad.
I'm mixing my numbers.
Right, and then iPad 2 will be the next iPad.
The interesting thing that I was reading about the beta 3.2 is that when AirPlay still not supporting video, even on the betas, because 4.2 is supposed to, when AirPlay comes out, you can throw stuff to your Apple TV, which I'm still eagerly awaiting mine.
In November, it's coming.
But even in the betas, they haven't turned it on, which is a little annoying because I'm very intrigued to know things like, I don't know, Hulu Plus. Will I be able to throw that up on my TV? Like you do with iTunes content, and how wide a range is this AirPlay going to be?
Right. Question from the chat room, what is tethering? Correct me if I'm mistaken. It's just when you're taking your iPad, you're hooking it up to another device that has a Wi-Fi connection, and then you can use that connection.
Well,
any connection.
A cellular connection. Yeah. Yes.
So a 3G connection, an edge connection, and you can then sort of suck that into your iPad.
Flip a switch, you connect it to using a code, and then through Bluetooth, your phone's talking to presumably your laptop.
So just for the noobs out there, little guide to tethering. So let's talk again. It's not so much talking; it's a video. I wanted to show this because it's just funny. And it's an example of how...
And you're a big Schwartzman fan.
I am a big Schwartzman fan. It's directed by Roman Coppola. It's a commercial for the New Yorker iPad app. And I just think it's interesting as an example of how the iPad has become culturally this very sort of high-end, hipstery, sort of trendy item that now it's getting these very, pop culture savvy commercials for new apps. So let's take a look at a clip from that.
Hi. I'm Jason Schwartzman, and I'd like to show you the New Yorker app for the iPad. So here it is, and you get every story every Monday, and when you find something that you're interested in, you just tap it, and to read it, you just swipe it vertically. There's a couple ways to get around the app. Touch anywhere on the screen, brings up your set of controls. Hit this one, table of contents, and then, excuse me. Hello? The hospital? Alright, what's the number? 32365. Alright, don't pull it till I get there. Alright, bye. So here's the table of contents. Give it a firm swipe. You find something you want to read. And bingo was his name-o. Swipe horizontally to flip from story to story, or hit the browse button for a zoomed out view of the entire issue. The fastest way to get from story to story is by using the scrubber located here at the bottom of the screen. Look. Incredibly, you can touch any cartoon.
Can you use your iPad in the shower? I don't think that's recommended.
Probably an unwise decision.
Yeah, I thought that when I was watching that, like, they should probably have a little thing at the bottom, like, don't actually take your iPad in the shower.
Should you run an iPad when you have that ridiculous of a mustache?
Yes, that you definitely, and when drinking and smoking heavily. Yeah. Anyway, just funny, a good example of, you know, a trendy, hipstery new iPad commercial. We're going to see more of these, I think.
You got your New Yorker app yet?
I don't, because you have to pay, I would assume, for the New Yorker app.
The app is free, and every issue
you have to pay for the issue.
$5.
Right, so I did that with Wired for like 2 issues, and honestly, I was not in love with the experience. It really felt a little like, you know, just sort of dressing it up and making it fancier without actually adding a lot to the experience of reading Wired.
Yeah.
And as a person who does not every month feel the need to read Wired or the New Yorker, I probably would not. I don't know, when am I going to sit around and read the New Yorker?
Would you read the New Yorker on your laptop?
You know, I mean, I would probably be more inclined to go iPad than laptop. I would probably want a print version still. I mean, the New Yorker seems like one of those experiences of like sitting on a couch, sipping some jasmine tea and reading the New Yorker. It still seems like the way to go about it.
The Best Buy CEO might disagree with you.
Oh,
look at that!
Look at that!
I gotta learn. I gotta learn.
Yeah,
you're not going to be here to do these smooth transitions.
It's true. So on that same note, Best Buy CEO Brian Dunn noted a few weeks ago. He said the iPad has slashed notebook sales by as much as 50%. But now he seems to be sort of backtracking that statement. He's claiming he was misquoted. He said at a holiday preview event for Best Buy this week, he said, quote, "Let's try this again. What we saw was approximately 40 to 50% cannibalization on netbook sales during a very narrow window, not over a sustained period of time." So, you know, over a couple weeks, the iPad seemed to overtake netbooks, and now he's saying it's not as big a deal. Notebooks, rather. Right. But honestly, it was a little hard to know what to make of this, because then Best Buy president Mike Vitelli made his own statement. He said the number of iPad sales overall has been very, very small. So it's really like saying notebook sales account for half of iPad sales.
It is netbook. They're saying netbooks.
All right. Not the other way around. Like, what does that mean? Like, the number of iPad sales has been very, very small, so it's really like saying that netbook sales account for half of iPad sales.
I don't know.
It honestly was like, it was a little bit like double talk. Like, they're saying laptops aren't being and won't be eclipsed by tablets, though they did admit that like it'll spur faster innovation. That was really like the takeaway for me.
I guess.
Was they're saying like, no, there's still going to be laptops. Don't everybody freak out and think tablets are replacing laptops. We're always going to have both. Do you think this is just like crisis management? Like laptop manufacturers were upset with him for saying that the iPad was taking over?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
That's what it sounded like to me. And do you think, I mean, is the big story here that, you know, tablets will, or I mean, is this a real concern that tablets are going to take over and there won't be laptops anymore?
I mean, the old metaphor was that Jobs made was computers will become trucks, and you know, tablets and stuff like that will be tablets and cell phones. I think will be more cars. Everyone will have, almost everyone will have a tablet or a phone, but maybe not everyone needs a laptop or a computer. I could see it getting there eventually, but I think we're still a few years off. There's still a few tactile problems with a tablet that, I mean, I love it for, but where I think, not just me, a programmer, you know, a technological person, but just anyone. Like, you're not going to write an essay on here. You're not going to do these things. And maybe they could come up with, you know, innovations 5 years down the line to get that done. But for now, it does seem like a middle device, something you have in addition to.
Yeah.
I forget where I read this, so I'm stealing it from somewhere and I forget where it was, but someone made the observation that the iPad can replace your second computer. Like maybe some people would have a laptop and then a desktop, and they're like, I could use another more powerful computer, let me get a desktop. Or I think more prominently, they have a desktop and they're like, maybe I could use a laptop. And I think the iPad is replacing that second computer,
right.
But it can't really replace your one computer.
Well, but that's exactly what we're saying. Like the laptop would be for most people a second. Almost everybody has their
not for students though.
That's true.
And that's where I think it's not cannibalizing at all. If you're a student and you're going in, which is I would think a large amount of MacBook sales, you're still going to be buying the MacBook. You can't buy an iPad instead of that.
That's a good point. Okay, so let's move on. They're saying in the chat room, Roman is the least talented Coppola. You clearly are forgetting about Christopher Coppola.
Don't ever challenge Lon on things of film.
Look him up. Least talented Coppola. Okay, so let's move on. We got to talk about this. The Blackberry Playbook. I know.
My head.
Every time I have a new news story about an upcoming tablet, Jacob sighs deeply. But we got to talk about it. Everybody's been talking about the new RIM tablet. We'd previously been calling it the Blackpad, but that was their internal way of referring to it. Now it's back. It's called the Playbook, and they unveiled it at BlackBerry DevCon 2010 in San Francisco. Specs are pretty much what we imagined they would be. 7 inches long, half an inch thick, weighs under a pound, a gig of internal RAM. It's got a brand new OS designed specifically for it called BlackBerry Tablet OS, compatible with Flash, QuickTime, WMV files, DivX, and it's got a micro USB port and a mini HDMI port, so you can connect it to any compatible device. You can video stream to your monitor, to your television. No price yet. They're expecting to debut it in 2011. My first big question here, and this is something that's been really weirding me out all week, why would BlackBerry choose to call its tablet the Playbook? Doesn't that run exactly counter to how they've branded Blackberries for pretty much the entire time there's been Blackberries, which is it's a business device?
Well, I think I've heard Playbook used in a business metaphor and a sort of coaching metaphor.
Well, yeah, like you're going to run that playbook.
Well,
right.
no, it's like, he has the playbook on a certain industry, and it's that all of that. That said, it seems like it's going to get its internet connectivity as an addition to through a BlackBerry phone. So if it's an addition to, they might be saying, well, they're going to market it to business people who already have the phone. So that might say appealing to their sporting side or their playful side in addition to it, even though they're advertising it as enterprise and all of that. So I don't know. I'm not gonna, I'm sure their marketing people spent, tens of thousands of dollars trying to figure out what would be the best name. So I'm not gonna doubt them on it. And it's just a name.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting to me that that's always been how I've seen the BlackBerry positioned is, well, all these other smartphones, it's like games and silly stuff. But this is if you want to have your emails and have your business. Yeah. Your calendar and everything all in one place, that's why you need a BlackBerry.
B.R. Moore makes a great point, which is it really could be them trying to step in a little bit, saying BlackBerries aren't just for, CEOs and VPs and all of that.
Well, right, and he's noting, they've marketed the Torch as it's fun too.
Yeah.
So I guess
it's not.
But I guess this is some high-level marketing decision at RIM. We have to open ourselves up beyond business.
I'm going to go broken record here, but all I'm going to say is show me the tablet.
Yeah, well, that was obviously that's my other.
Gruber linked to a post on Dairy Rebel. Showing this in the giant demo they have where you see little bits of the OS and stuff like that. You don't actually see the device. You see computer rendering of it.
It's all just right. You're seeing graphics, but it's all animated. You're not actually seeing the tablet at work. And I thought it's really interesting to note the difference between this unveiling and the iPad. When the iPad was unveiled, Jobs is just playing with it. There on stage, he actually has a camera over his shoulder, much like we have on the show.
And they had them there for the press to play with.
Right, and he's just like, gee, here's how I use it. Let's say I want to listen to my music. Boom, boom, boom. And it's so much more visceral, and it's so much more intriguing when you're seeing the product. And that's why, too, it's not coming out till 2011.
So it's going to be competing with iPad 2, not iPad.
It's going to compete with iPad 2, and it almost seems like they're trying to just sort of make everyone else hold off, like, hey, we're going to release this big thing next year. So it's almost like an attempt to just kind of freeze the marketplace.
The holiday sales, I guess, of the iPad.
Yeah, it's like, don't buy your iPad just yet because we've got this awesome thing coming out in 2011. Like,
but if they don't release it quick enough, they could screw themselves if Apple gets the iPad 2 announcement in early enough. Then it's all the buzz goes there. And then they probably release a substandard product that no one ever cares about. We talk about it. Well, not we, but me and Andrew will talk about it and go, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah.
Remember, we thought that might be good, and we move on.
And then the announcement this week, too. I don't have a full news story about it because it's not really much of a story, but Microsoft apparently will not have a Windows tablet in the market until halfway through 2011 is what researchers are now saying. So, yeah, the HP Slate maybe will be a little bit before that if everything goes well. But so, yeah, they're basically giving Apple like a 1.5-year head start, which seems a little unwise. Get that kind of traction.
Just a smidge.
Yeah. So two more quick things I want to get to. We are running short on time. I wanted to talk about the iPad is coming to Target and Best Buy. It's already been at Best Buy, but they're going to expand to all their stores. It's only been in select locations. Target has also announced starting October 3rd, so coming right up, 2 days. It's going to start selling iPads, and it's all going to be, Black Friday, the holiday shopping season. It's going to be a big blowout there. Both stores are going to carry multiple iPad models. Target may not stock the 16-gig Wi-Fi and 3G version. It retails at $629. It may be a little pricey, I think, for their stores. Definitely going to expand the number of places you can get an iPad, but some people are still saying it may be the really hard to track down Christmas gift this year. There may be a run on the iPad, and it still may be a little bit hard to find, especially if Best Buy and Target do big Black Friday slash-the-price deals on, as they did with iPhones in years previous.
To date myself, I think we're going to be seeing a Power Rangers toy level epidemic here. I think you'll be able to get one. Like, I think it might be on Black Friday, they might run out, and then certain weekends you might find it, but I think you're going to be able to find them enough. One thing, I'm going to go back on a few news stories real quick. One to pwn Nunamaya real quick, but I'll do that. I'll do that a little bit later. Best Buy said the iPad sales have been very, very small. So I'm wondering if the Apple of image and the sort of cult of Apple, the image of Apple, the cult of Apple, is so big that people are going out of their way to either go to the Apple Store or go to the online Apple Store or an Apple Store to buy them.
See, I think
because it's the experience of you've seen all these lots of white and.
I actually think, yeah, it's so much easier and convenient to get an iPad at Apple.com, like at their store. It does really sort of seem to take a lot of the need for lots of storefronts. I mean, most people I know, I think, got their iPad on the Apple Store online.
Right, or most of the people I know,
because
going to the Apple Store is, for anyone that actually, if you're thinking of buying an iPad, you like the Apple aesthete enough to where you might give in to an Apple Store.
So if you're in a big city, you'd go to your Apple Store, and if you're not, you'd go online. I think that's the case for the most part. I do think it's possible we'll get, if Target knocks the price down by like $100 for a week or something. We'll get
and I also think that it's a step that right now might not make a huge step, but once people can come to expect all Apple gear being in stores like Best Buy and Target and stuff like that, some people might even be surprised to see things like iPads in stores like that. They need to get the footprint out early so it's just there and people are aware of these devices. What I don't like about it is I don't like specs. Computers, Nunamaya was bringing up, it's a dual core, it's got lots of RAM, it plays Flash, which I don't care about.
He's talking about the Galaxy.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I think he's talking about the Playbook.
The Playbook, oh, okay.
But it's specs. It's all specs. Back in the day, when I was on my little dinky, MacBook that had a really, not even a gig processor, it was still infinitely better performing than, my friend's 2 gig desktop.
Right.
And that's because it's not all about specs, it's about a lot of other things. And I'm not saying it will be bad. Given RIM's usage so far in the track record using touch devices, I'm a little skeptical, but it might be great. And those specs can support a great device, but it doesn't mean they will.
Right. So many people get into the dueling specs game, and I think we saw it actually with the with the phones, with the iPhone versus the HTC Evo or some of those other phones that came out, where it was all these like, well, look at all the specs on this side. It's like, yeah, but it's about the performance, it's about the device, it's about how everything comes together.
And Evo is a great phone. I mean, their Android phones are starting to come out where I played around with them. Like, this is a good phone.
And the Nexus 1, I think, was one of the same.
But like, before that, it's like, you would use these things that had better specs than my iPhone. The iPhone's not that impressive spec-wise, but it did not feel as snappy, it did not feel as fast, and that's what matters. So, show me a tablet, I'll play around with it. I will totally eat crow if it's
I'm
awesome.
excited when these tablets start coming out. This show is going to get a lot more interesting because we'll have like dueling tablets that we can play around with. One more thing, I promised every week we were going to look at just a fun video of the iPad out there in the world doing interesting, cool, fun, goofy little things. Here is this week's clip. It's from Vimeo. It's the iPad Street Musician. Let's take a look.
Nerd.
Oh, hippie! I love hippies. Hippies are hilarious. I wonder if that thing can do any fish tunes. A lot of fun. I enjoyed seeing that.
I got no comments.
So that is it for this show. That is it for me as your central iPad figurehead.
I'm bringing you back if I'm ever sick.
I will. Look, I sit 10 feet away. I'm in the office every day. I'm not going away forever, kids. I'm not leaving permanently. But I am going to take a big step back, and Andrea Renee is going to come and fill the spot. She is also on our show, which is following this on Thursdays, This Week in Video Games. So it's going to be like an Andrea Renee block.
Power hours.
A power 2 hour. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I will still be, producing and helping out behind the scenes. So I'm not going away forever, folks. But I need a little more time. I need to be on a few less shows. So this is going to be a big step in that direction. Congratulations to @SeanTheTwit. I will be informing him that he has won our iPad. Thank you to all of our amazing, wonderful sponsors: Press Reader, Gazelle, Hover, TWI.hover.com, Gazelle.com, and use the code TWIIP, and go to PressReader.com and use the code TWIIP to get a week for free. We love all of our sponsors. It would really mean a lot to me and to Jacob and to the whole crew if you could go to those sites, use those codes, let them know we sent you there. It's great for the network. Let us keep bringing you great free shows about topics that you love. That's all we want to do. That sponsors are invaluable in helping us with that. So until next time, that's it for This Week in iPad.